Dun, dun, dun,
Hello,
dun.
everybody. Come on,
One.
son, sit
Hello.
down.
Come on, son, sit down.
Sorry,
Why you all up in the camera like that?
I saw something that I need to give attention to. So
How's it going? How are we doing?
Yep. Joe, are you wearing a new shirt?
I am. So I was wearing my green shirt, and that's why I was running behind. And I'm like, crap, I can't wear this shirt. And I'm like, I had to run to the closet. And this is my Star Wars shirt that I was given to at Christmas from Big Kid's boyfriend.
Cool.
Yeah, so I guess I'll keep him around. He's pretty cool.
All right. One more Christmas. Right. Let's hope he doesn't get you a tie this year.
Right, exactly. Mr. Pineapples, tell us about your shirt.
this was the birthday gift that Joe got me, and it's got an old saying, "Come on, son," and it's got the pineapple. So you would normally think this was related to me solely, but it comes from a show that I love called Psych, and in every episode there's a pineapple you got to find, and "Come on, son" is a phrase that they use often. Anyway, it's the greatest show I've ever, one of the greatest shows I've ever seen. Totally funny.
So this shirt is a really basic black shirt. It has a pocket.
Oh, I like that.
I love pockets. I don't think that women have enough pockets on their shirts or their pants. I'm finding
I
out
agree.
that 2 daughters, and I'm like,
No, and you know what's even more annoying than that is when they have pseudo pockets.
Yeah, fake pockets are the
Oh.
worst.
I'm just like, because I'll tell a models like, okay, put your hands in your pockets or your thumbs in your pockets, and like these aren't real.
Right.
I'm like, what? Why?
You like my back pockets?
why fashion industry? Why do you do that?
Right? It's like, why have? If you're not going to do pockets, don't make it look like you got pockets.
Yeah.
Don't be
Crazy,
suspicious.
crazy. So, Sandy, why don't you tell us your day, because Mr. Pineapple seems to be.
Oh
looking
my
for
gosh,
something.
y'all. Well, y'all know that my day, if it's a good day, it's because it involved really good food. And let me show y'all what I had today.
Oh,
I need
no.
I need y'all to see the before and after of this. See if y'all can pull it up. I went to Dirk's LBK, and basically it's just chicken. And I've been craving rotisserie chicken, not store rotisserie, like good rotisserie.
Do you want me to get it, Jamie? You
I'm
got it.
pulling it up.
Okay.
Sorry.
And so y'all look at that, a half a bird.
Half a bird.
A half a bird.
Bird, bird,
Good-looking
bird. Bird is a
So-
word.
I think the bird looks good, but I'm not gonna lie, those green beans look freaking awesome, man.
They were so good. Those fries and then the spicy ketchup. Oh, so good. And I don't even know what
Where's
else.
this at?
Dirk's LBK. It's off of 16th and Q.
Wow.
What a fun name. Where'd you go today,
Well,
Dirk?
it's after Dirk's West.
Oh, the guy, the cartoon artist.
Yeah,
What's
the
that?
cartoon artist.
Yeah, he used to draw all the cartoons for like the Big 12, and he's got a very specific style. It's really cool.
Yeah. And so anyway, look at the next picture.
Ooh.
I'm not ashamed. I am
Did you-
not ashamed.
Did you give that to Johnny Cash?
Did you pick up the? Is there anything left on that?
It looks like a goat head. I was like, oh, that does not look good. Let me take a picture of
Were
it.
you making tamales with that?
I know, right? The goat's head. I'm like, and then I wasn't even hungry for dinner. I ate so much. So,
But you didn't feed your kid either, though, right? I think when I talked to you earlier, you were like,
no, Eric came home and ordered pizza.
So,
and saved the day.
you know, that's what I got for my kids tonight, too, was pizza.
I'm just glad we can have pizza. Here,
Pizza.
I did a Snapchat too. I just sent it to you guys. And you can see his art style. It's hanging all over that restaurant. That restaurant used to be Italian Garden, and then he opened up Mexican Garden. And then this guy totally redid it. It was we liked it. We enjoyed
Oh,
it.
okay. I know where that's at then.
Yeah.
I know where that's
We
at.
went there for Tony's birthday. Do you remember?
I do.
Remember when Tony was late for his birthday?
For his own birthday? Yeah.
For 2 hours late?
2 hours
That
late.
sounds about like Tony.
Yeah. So anyway, there's all of his art that's hanging
Yeah,
up in
he
there.
does really good stuff. It was really cool.
You do really good stuff, dude.
Yeah, one of my compliments, what was it? Badass photography?
That's what it was. That's what it said.
Dude, that was such a fun session. I wish I could show more of it, but it's
It's not for your eyes, people.
Red light, red light, red light.
Oh, he's Drake's grandson? Look at that.
I think
That's
so.
why.
Look at that. How about that?
That is pretty cool. I wonder if he picked up the drawing from his grandfather's.
They all looked original that was in the frames and stuff. But anyway, it was really good. We enjoyed it. And I'm trying to even think what else. That was the highlight of my day, eating a half a chicken.
You're like, and I ate for pretty much the whole day.
Right, because chicken is gluten-free, in case you are wondering.
Very
Wasn't,
nice.
but thank you. That's okay. So here's my good news for the day. You ready for this?
Go for it.
Check this out. Boom.
Whataburger location
Whataburger's
confirmed.
first locations outside of Texas.
No
Where's that?
way.
Where's Blue Springs?
Guess. Just take one guess.
Illinois.
Nope. I wish it was. Kansas.
Kansas. Oh, they're slowly moving up.
Is
Yeah,
it because
I
of
mean-
your homies?
Yeah. It actually in the article it expressly says that.
That's
Because of
awesome.
Mahomes.
Yep. My
That's
homies.
pretty
Because
cool.
of my homies.
Because
So
of
how
the
far-
Mahomes.
How far is that from you, Jamie? Will you be going?
Let's see real quick. Y'all can talk about something else while I look it up.
How
Oh,
was your day, Joe?
it was awesome. Can I show you guys what I was photographing today?
Yes.
And
would
I'm
love
going to
see
let
that.
you guess the theme of the shoot. Oh, crap. That's wrong
Pineapples.
one. No.
Yeah.
No.
That was a
no,
pineapple
no.
that popped up. That's awesome.
Chocolate.
So I'm going to show you one picture, and then you get to guess the theme, okay?
Okay, ready.
Okay, hold on.
Alright,
I'm
ready.
gonna see. Oh,
Gorgeous. Is this a pet calendar?
is
This is not a pet calendar, but
is
it's...
this cremation of pets? Maybe.
What the?
Yeah, like when they pass away and they get to be. Oh,
I was like, what?
Yeah, he photographed the cremation process. Wow.
it's 6 hours away.
Oh, 6 hours away from you.
Close enough.
It's 6 hours away from us, probably.
Sandy, I'm feeling that. Too. I'm like, yeah.
You're like, I'll be there.
I can make a trip to Kansas City for this.
Because basically, that's like Dallas for us or
Yeah.
Austin. So
Yep.
totally doable.
Sorry, I'm gonna contain my excitement right
Yeah.
now.
Joe, is
Apologies.
this a Halloween photo shoot where you're going to see a serial killer coming up and killing the little puppy?
And the killie turns, and the dog turns around and
No.
takes out. He goes Cujo on the killer.
Nope,
Yes.
nope. Okay, so I'm going to give you another hint. I'm going to
Okay,
give you another
ready.
hint.
We're ready.
You ready? Here's
Yeah, I'll be
the other-
serious this time.
The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, that's so
Toto.
cute.
Right, yeah.
Oh, Joe.
Hey,
You did
those
that today?
zippers,
I
though.
did that today. It's awesome.
That is so neat.
Yeah, he was awesome. I
Oh.
was like, now I want to be a pet photographer. I have a really good friend that's a pet photographer, and she's awesome. But yeah, then so
And so, was pets ever like expressly off your list of
no,
photographs?
no.
Okay.
So here's another one.
Oh,
dude.
Where's her? Did she put him in her basket?
Hold on.
You have a basket photo.
Yes, let me see if I
Has
can.
she seen these
find
yet?
it. Yes, she saw them on the back of the camera though. She hasn't seen them, and I haven't edited these. These are straight from the thing. So here's a good one.
Oh my! Look at him! Oh my gosh! These
Man,
are
that
awesome.
place looks so cool too, Joe.
Yeah, whenever she contacted me, she was like, "Hey, I want to do a Dorothy and Toto photo shoot." And I was like, "I have the perfect location." So this is called Tree Covered Road, and it's north of Slayton.
Aptly
So
named.
yeah, so that road covers about, I would say, about half a mile. You can do trees go over, make a tunnel.
How much Neanderthal did you have?
Go over, make
Go over.
make tunnel, long road.
Aw, Shanice, thanks for coming by.
Yeah,
Shanice
so
is,
that-
in my neck of the woods.
That's
Actually-
what I did today, and it was awesome.
Dude, that is so cool.
I love
You
it.
called that, what was the name of that street again, Joe? Or road or whatever?
Tree covered road.
So for
And
us, we call that every street here.
yes, we don't care.
Here in Bloomington, all the streets have trees. So I don't know if I've told you about it before, but there's signs up everywhere where it's like we recognize, your city is a tree something, basically a bunch of tree huggers. But when we go into fall, everything starts looking gold, brown, red.
Pictures or it didn't happen.
Yeah,
I'll throw them your ways.
We don't care.
I'll throw them your ways.
Hey, Jamie.
Yeah.
Who do we have on the show today?
You and Sandy.
Flex on him.
And me. I just play. Everyone, so remember, the idea here was we wanted to really tug on some heartstrings this month. We really want to kind of battle everything that's happening that we're leading up to sometime here soon with some really good stories that can help people feel really soft in the heart. And I think we've been doing
inadequate as families.
Or yeah, there's that too. And it's been no secret that our show, I feel like, has produced some people that have gotten this overabundance of talent and spotlight worthy successes in their life. And tonight's guest is no exception to that. And I tell you what, the challenge with tonight's guest was that at one point in life, it could be easy to see what he went through as being just this really challenging aspect in life and hard and somewhere where you can't really come out of almost. But to see where he is today, to see how he's come out of that and what he's doing for people in the same situation as he was, we're about to be blown away. I mean, he probably is one of these guys that feels like I'm just doing just a little bit, but it's like one of those you're like, dude, yeah, you're doing more than just a little bit. You're right. You are an amazing man. We
do a little bit.
We do a little bit, yeah.
Little. Our job right now seems to be find the people who have way more talent than the three of us combined, and let's bring them on and just showcase how little talent we actually have. So with that said, I would love for you all to help me welcome a very close friend of mine up here in Illinois. His name is Toy Beasley.
Yeah. Welcome, Toy. You notice how we built you way up. So if you fall on your face, that's
now
all
I gotta produce.
Right, exactly.
So good evening, Mr. Beasley. How are you tonight?
I'm doing good. Thank you guys for allowing me to be on your platform tonight.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming on our platform.
We like that. We like platform, not the other P word that people tend to throw around when they talk about our show.
Thank you so much, Toy. So, Toy, I was just telling everyone about how life seemed probably a little challenging for you at one point, and you probably didn't see where you would be today back then. So before we get to that, though, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Let our viewers know about you.
Yes. My name is Toy Beasley, and I am a husband. I am a father of 4 beautiful girls.
Whoa, you got hosed on that.
I am also a grandfather.
Oh,
so
Toy, you can't be a day over 26, sir. I don't know what you're talking about. How you could do that?
I have a beautiful wife. Her name is Danielle. I have like I said, my 4 daughters. Their name is Kyle, Kashori, Toniqua, and Lucretia.
And one of them is about to get married, right?
Yes. So 29, 26, 11, and 8 years old.
Oh
wow.
Wow.
So I started very young. My
Just
daughter,
a little bit of time between them.
My daughter turned 29 on the 17th of this month, a few days ago on Saturday. So
Happy birthday.
Yeah. So I also love sports. I'm very, very grateful that the NBA got the chance to come back and see the rest of the season and see the finals. I'm a LeBron fan. Wherever LeBron goes,
right,
I go.
That's where Toy goes.
So I'm also heavily involved in my community. I'm involved in McLean County Jail. I do jail ministry. I help out at different food pantries, homeless shelters. My passion is about working with people, being an example. So I can help people to help them, the challenge they go to help them be successful.
Amen.
That's awesome.
Amen.
Boy.
So, talking a little bit about that, why don't you tell us what's kind of your story? Just give us a brief thing on your story of why we brought you on the show tonight, and then we'll delve deeper into that.
Sure. Yes. You brought me on the show basically to talk about life after situations. And also, too, I forgot to tell you, I'm a soon-to-be author, and I'll talk about that in a little bit.
Awesome.
Just remember, life after situations, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Yes, you brought me on the show to basically talk about the things I went through that led me to where I'm at today.
Yes.
I was brought up in a wonderful home. My grandmother raised me up in a beautiful home at an early age, through grammar school, through high school. Life was great. Didn't have a whole lot of money, but I had food on the table. I made sure I had school clothes. Life was good. Then graduated from high school, went to my first year in college, and that's when life became a struggle.
Tell us about that, Toy.
Life became a struggle because I dealt with unresolved trauma, and I dealt with abandonment. So what do you say unresolved trauma? What do you say abandonment? Well, instead of me dealing with my unresolved trauma, instead of me dealing with my abandonment, I use drugs, I use alcohol to cover up that pain. Lost my mother at a young age. Father was never around. Like I said, I had a good home, but that abandonment, that untreated trauma of losing my mother when I was a young age led me into things that I never thought I would be involved in. I played sports in high school. I was part of student council. You name it, I was a part of. I had early success in high school, but once high school was over, after that first year in college, life became a roller coaster. I was introduced to crack cocaine. Well, crack cocaine led me into getting involved with people that I never thought I'd be involved in. Drinking all the time, waking up drinking, going to bed drinking. Had to have a drink to sustain to sustain a daily life. And eventually that led into drug and alcohol treatment centers, where I was in and out of somebody's treatment center for the next couple of years, the next several years, which led into probation, which led into the county jail, which led me into the Illinois Department of Corrections. And from 1993 to 1999, I was in and out of somebody's facilities. Why? Because I didn't know how to deal with abandonment. I didn't know how to deal with untreated trauma. And so going through that experience, whether it's a treatment center, whether it was prison, whether it was jail, I didn't understand life. I didn't know how to go about living life. So I drank it, I smoked it, and then eventually I fell on my face. And I began to cry out to my God for help. And because I know that I couldn't do this on my own. I know that I tried to attack that abandonment on my own. I tried to attack that unresolved trauma on my own, and it kept slapping me in the face. And I remember like it was yesterday. I was in I got eventually sent to prison in 94, the winter of 94. Joliet Correctional Center, and I pleaded for help. I said, help me. And so eventually, as I reached out of my comfort zone, I began to ask help. While I was in prison, I began to get involved with people that can help me with my life struggles, can help me get back on track, to help me find my purpose, because I didn't know my purpose. My purpose was drugs and alcohol and women, and back up a little bit. Unhealthy relationships, treating women like like dogs, like just badly, because I didn't know who I was. So that led me, like I said, from in and out from 1999. I paroled from Tams work camp, February 1999.
How old? I'm sorry, real quick, Toy. How old were you when you started this? Downward choices, or however way you want to word that. I know you said the years.
Yes, I was age 19 years old, 1920ish.
Okay.
Is when it started.
And can I ask you, how did your grandmother feel about you going this way? Where was grandma in all this?
Grandmother, she was there. She not only grandmother, but other people in my family. They tried to be there for me, but I refused to help with them. I didn't want their help. I was too far gone into my addiction that they didn't matter. I stole from them.
Oh, okay.
So I stole from my grandmother. I stole from my sister. I stole from my family. And, even though they try to help me and bring me back, I still continue to steal from them. So that built up a wall where they basically said, you know what? You need to go to jail. Maybe you need to go this. Maybe you need to go that. So.
And there weren't any warning signs like in high school that you were going through this type of stuff? Or were you surrounded by the right people during that time and had...
Yes, I was surrounded by the right people. I think I was just so busy involved in sports.
Okay.
I worked the job, so it didn't really give me time to think about,
right.
I mean, of course, I smoked a little weed and drank a little alcohol in high school. Everybody done that at some point, but it didn't exceed until I had all this time on my hand once I graduated from high school.
Yeah, because in college you have all this time and you're basically in charge of yourself.
Right.
No one's like on your butt about things, and you're like, oh, okay, well, no one tell me I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Toy, do you feel like when you were going through that was kind of? I think Joe kind of asked it, looking at it a different way. Was it a gradual process, or did it seem like it just all hit you at once? Like, overnight you were just kind of like, good boy Toy, and then you turned to bad boy Toy. In the span of a week or something, you know what I mean, like that, or was it just kind of?
No, it was over a span of time where I little by little I start de-escalating down the hill, whether it's not taking a shower or avoiding family, not eating. So eventually those things led down to the road to let me hit today. So there were many of signs that I seen, and there was many times that people tried to help me, but I refused that.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to want help.
So, yes. And so, while I was in prison, I took advantage of a lot of the educational stuff they had, whether I got involved in church, I got involved in AA, I got involved in NA. I met with a pastor privately and basically built relationships that I didn't know how to build on the outside. And so that while I was in prison, before I got to prison, before that, I always wanted to be an accountant. I was always good with numbers. I was always good with that. So I said, once I'm in here, I'm gonna get involved. I'm gonna get back into college, and I'm gonna get back into some accounting classes and basically, live my dream. What I wanted to live in high school is being a certified accountant. So
and that is so funny hearing you say that, Toy, because I know Toy guys. My kids play with his kids. I have dinner. He's been over to the house. He's eating dinner on the Blackstone with me also.
Oh, nice.
And,
that must be nice. That must be nice.
He took me up to his wife, and his wife was all like, "Oh my god!" So anyway, once spring rolls around again, we're gonna make sure to have you guys back over, Toy.
Yes.
But it's funny hearing him talk about being an accountant because, and we'll get to it later, and I'm not going to spill anything, but seeing where he is today, it's kind of like, huh. I won't say the farthest thing from it, but I will say totally would never have guessed that. So this is news to me right now, and I like it.
Right. So I actually did 2 different stints in the Department of Corrections. The first time I did 3 years, I got out. And I was out 4 months, and I went back.
What?
So I went back in 1996. So I got locked up in 93 and I got out in 96 and I got out in 93 and got out and went back in 96. And so that second time that, like I said, I didn't deal with, during my first bit, I went through all those educational things. I tried to educate myself. And so I won't have to make that mistake, And I remember a counselor told me, when I met with him inside the prison, he said, if you don't deal with those unresolved issues, it's going to deal with you. And so I said, no, I got this. I'm a man of faith. I do this, I do that. I got my family. I'm going to be fine. And sure enough, I got out. Life was fine. My dad provided a place for me to stay, even though my daddy was never there for me going through this. He was there for me when I got out of prison. He provided a place for me to stay. He gave me clothes. He got me a car. I have money in my pocket. I'm like,
wow,
I'm good.
He was really like setting you up.
But the key was that still wasn't enough. You know why? Because I didn't deal with my abandonment. I didn't deal with my unresolved issues. So I'm feeling good about myself. You think, man, you got a car, you got clothes, you got a roof over your head. I wasn't one of those individuals that get out of prison and are homeless. I had family that supported me, but I still wasn't happy.
Yeah.
So 4 months in between get out of prison the first time, and I got involved in back in again unhealthy relationships. I got hanging on to old people, places, and things that you get caught up in, and so they became a norm. The next thing I know, I'm locked back up.
Oh man.
So Toy, you're in college, you do these, you start hanging out with people, you start making some choices. It's a gradual process. Something happens, you get prison time. You're in there for 3 years.
3 years.
And you have what I would say are some epiphanies while you're in there.
Right.
And then you get out, and then it's almost like, did all those epiphanies, that they kind of just were they not prevalent anymore? Were they not like convictions that you're able to hold on to? Or would you say like those relationships that you got back into, the environment that you got back into, was it just that much more powerful?
When you get out, when you don't deal with your unresolved issues, like I said, it would deal with you. So those things that I learned, or I thought I learned while I was locked up, kind of went over my head. I guess when I got out was when you getting out of prison or you doing something new, whether it's a new job, you know how you've been in your honeymoon stage, you're feeling good about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So when I got out of prison, I was in my honeymoon stage. I feeling good about myself. And I forgot about those things that was shown me while I was locked up. And I had enough there.
I would say it's kind of like cramming for a test. Like you kind of understand just for that few minutes where you need to put it out there and get it all where it needs to go, make the good grade, and then the next 2 weeks or somebody asks you about it, you have no idea what happened about it. You have no clue. So that's why I kind of seeing is like you're just like you feel like you know it, but then you don't really know it. And
no, you don't.
And I want to take a second real quick just to ask the viewers out there, what part of Toy's story is resonating with you, but, kind of what Joe's saying right there, kind of, it helps me out a little bit. But have any of you guys gone through something where you feel like you've really, took some time to really learn or study something out or, and then when you thought you were ready to handle that, you were kind of like, oh, nope, I didn't really.
right.
Maybe it's not that you didn't prepare, but kind of like what Toy was saying, you didn't really address the heart of the matter. And so you maybe studied for all the symptoms. Maybe you were addressing symptoms, but not the heart of the matter. And so you found when you did that, things turned out to be a little bit different when you address that.
Right.
And
So
I
throw in
think
the
that a lot
comments.
of us carry a lot of unresolved issues and we deal with it in ways similar to Toy. Some just have not escalated to jail time, prison time, and stuff like that. They might still be at the level of just drinking and, sleeping away whatever your sorrows are, for sure.
And I gotta feel like your message, Toy, it also resounds with other things. Maybe it's not to the extreme or to those effects that put you in positions where you have the option to be in prison. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but you know what I mean? But I think there's also the practical applications in our daily lives where, like, what are we doing where we think we are, there's those problems in our life, small or big, and we think we're addressing them, but we're really not also.
Mhm.
You know. So anyhow,
No,
tell us more
that's
about.
true. And so I like I said, I got blocked back in, and then when I was embarrassed, I was ashamed because while I was at this prison prior to getting out, I was like, I can't go back and face that same institution. I put on this show, I put on this facade. I can't go back there. I played this model inmate. I put a model inmate on and said, you know what, I never return. But like I said, getting out within those 4 months and went back. But when I went back, I told myself, I gotta get honest with myself. I gotta get a relationship with God. I gotta get more involved. What's keeping me bound? And I did the same old things. I got involved in more education. I got more involved in it, but this time I had to make a commitment. This time I actually seen a counselor that helped me talk about or deal with my abandonment. We talked about deep about why was I feeling abandoned. We talked about what happened when my mom passed away. What part that you didn't talk about, what part that you didn't do. So I dug a little deeper inside of that. And in the midst of all that, I found out, you know what? I don't want to be no more accountant. I want to be a counselor.
Yeah.
I want to be
Now that
a social worker.
sounds like Toy. That I know.
But I like I said, I end up paroling after going through those another 3 years of prison. I end up paroling February 1999. I never forget. I was down in Tams, Illinois. You guys know what Tams, Illinois is? You know what you heard of Cairo, Illinois? It's the last city in the state of Illinois on the Kentucky border. Anyway, okay. Tams is deep south. So anyway, when you parole home, they give you $50. They give you a bus ticket, and they send you on your way. So I had to take a bus all the way. I had time to think. I had to take a 4.5 hour drive bus all the way from Tams, Illinois to Peoria, Illinois. And I had time to think. Once again, my dad opened the doors back up for me. He let me back in again. And that's when life began to change. Eventually, I stayed in Peoria a short time. And I was like, you know what? I can't be in Peoria no more. This is old stumping grounds. So I moved to Bloomington, Illinois. I went to a halfway house at Chestnut Health Systems.
Okay.
I was a client at Chestnut Health Systems for 3 months. It was an extended care program that I went through, and I was able to get a job. I saved up some money, and I ended up getting me an apartment, and then I ended up getting a job and ended up keeping that job. I never forget, Steak and Shake on Rab Road was my first job that I ever had. At 20, 26, 27, 28, somewhere around there, 29, I don't know how old I was, around our age. That was my first job that I ever worked. They got a vacation. I worked there a year and I got a vacation. I was excited. And then after 2 years being clean and sober, I ended up getting a job at Chestnut Health System as a detox counselor. And that's when my journey began to work in this field. I began to see that my testimony can help other men. The things I went through in life can help other men be successful. I can help avoid men from getting caught up in the traps that I went through. Mm-hmm. So
how long? And real quick, how old were you, or what year was that in when you started at Chestnut?
2003. 2003. Okay. I started working at Chestnut Health because you had to wait till you got 2 years clean and sober, or 2 years out of the institution. And I think I was 2.5, 3 years. So anyway, I started working there. I was a detox counselor at the time. And I had some college credits. I didn't have a degree at the time. So I pursued what you call a CADC. It's a certified alcohol drug counselor, where I had to have so many hours of working in the field, and then I could go sit for the test. This CADC is like a degree next to your name. Like somebody got BS or MSW. Mm-hmm. A CADC is like a certified card next to your name. So anyway, I got involved there, and I said, I want to do more. And so that's when I started volunteering. I started doing things and got involved in my community. I knew that was important to me. A lot of men that get out of prison go back to prison because they don't get involved in the community. When I say get involved in the community, are you doing any volunteer work? Are you going to AA or NA? Are you involved in your local church? Are you involved in a support group? So a lot of men and women They get out of the criminal justice system, and then they think they can do life on their own. Like they don't need no help, but you need a support group. Because anybody that's been locked up, whether it's one day, you have some type of trauma. Anytime that somebody's telling you that what time you gotta go to bed, when you can eat, when you go to the gym, you're in a 4x6 with another man where you gotta see them wake up. They watch you use the bathroom, taking showers with 50 other men. That's trauma. And so I tell men and women when they get out, you need somebody that you can connect to that can help you get from point A to point B. Then I figured that, you know what, I want to make this out a career. So I enrolled into a college, UIS, Illinois, University of Illinois at Springfield. I got involved in that college. I went there for 3 years. Didn't get a degree yet. I'm still pursuing my degree because I had to drop out because of some unresolved reasons. But I still remain working in the field doing things. And now I was at Chestnut Health Systems for 7 years, which led me to the employer that I'm at now, which is TAS. It's called Treatment Alternatives for Safer Communities. Nice. I am the recovery support coordinator. And what I do right now with TAS is I going into communities and inside the prisons. You hear me? You're missing this. At one time, I had a K number, K50799, where it says inmate. Guess what I got now? I got a badge to say the state of Illinois employee. They get a chance to go back out inside there and teach other men how to live sober, how to live a sane life. So what I do is I go inside the prisons and help start support groups called Winter Circle. Winter Circles are support groups for men and women that is similar to an AA or NA meeting where they can come and talk about life struggles. And also I go inside of the community. And I help establish Winter Circles in the community. Before this monster came over us, we have many locations in the state of Illinois where men and women came out and they went out to talk about life struggles. So now with this new norm, I went virtually. So okay. I'm actually doing trainings online. I'm doing Winter Circle Zooms now. So yeah, that's basically what I'm doing now. I'm still active in my community, still today. I tell men and women all the time is that you got to make this a lifestyle. And I think some people reason why the recidivism rate is so high because men and women that's getting out of the institution don't make this a lifestyle. Some men and women don't. Some men and women that have life struggles may not have to go to prison, but they face other struggles in their life. But whatever your struggle is, and whatever that change be, you got to make it a lifestyle. And I think some people are stuck today because they don't make their change to be a lifestyle.
Right.
And everybody has different wellness. Whatever your wellness is, your thing may be working out, your thing may be a support group, your thing may be whatever your wellness may be, and it may change. But the key is that for me is that I had to continue to make life a lifestyle. So that's basically what I'm doing today. I've been with TAS, Treatment Alternatives, for 12 years. I started with them in 2000, I think it was 2008, 2007, 2008, I think it was. And I started as a case manager. I wasn't making a whole lot of money. I got promoted. I got I really thank God for this because it was that time I wanted to leave this agency for money. But this is my passion. But I wasn't making enough money, but my God kept telling me, stick in there, hang in there. It's going to be greater. It's going to get better. Next thing you know, I got a promotion. Next thing you know, I got another promotion.
Awesome.
And so that's my story.
And you're sticking to it.
Toy, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So when you go into the prisons, or when you used to go into the prisons, do you find a lot of people or a lot of the inmates kind of like, you don't know what I'm going through? And then when you tell them that you've been through the system, do they kind of step back and reflect and think, if he can do it, I can do it too?
Yes, I do. Some certain prisons, I don't really sometimes expose myself. I have to feel the crowd because
Mhm.
sometimes you got to be very careful in how you expose yourself to
Right.
people because sometimes people take advantage of that.
Right.
They think that since you've been an inmate once before, now you're coming back in, they try to take advantage of that. So,
Mhm.
but I do get an opportunity to share my story, and some men come up afterwards after I get done speaking. It's like, how'd you do it? What steps did you take?
Yeah.
How'd you get involved? So I begin to share with them that, first thing I say is when you get out, get involved in your community.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Your community is going to make or break you. And so
I
I share that with them all the time is that if you don't get involved in the community, you're going to fall short.
Right.
I had to say the one thing I'm going to take away from tonight is the resounding gong I hear from you is get involved with your community, and I think that's an
Yes.
excellent practical. I think that helps out on, and I think there's something to say to that for people who don't struggle just in the environments that you're talking about. But I think as a general rule of thumb for anyone who wants to change the habits that they do, like getting involved in your community, getting involved. Like I know Sandy, she's heavy with the um, remind me what it's called, Sandy, the SPCA.
I used to be really heavy with the SPSPCA and the South Plains. And one thing on that is, I didn't realize I was in a depression, but that pulled me out of a depression that I was in. And so you're
Wow.
right, getting involved with your community. Because, at that point I was just sleeping. I thankfully wasn't drinking anything because I had my boys were smaller. But yeah, I mean, just that was how I was coping, was closing all the blinds and just going to sleep. But then I
Mhm.
became involved with my community in that way, and it was kind of what saved me.
And I hear what you're talking about, Toy, with what you're, like sticking with what you love instead of for the money. Because Joe, that reminds me of you a little bit. Like Joe loves his photography bit, and he always used to tell me, "You got to get a camera, man. Get a camera. You love it. It's awesome. It's great. It's so therapeutic. It's so, and all this stuff." But even though I didn't buy onto it quite yet, it was always something to hear Joe talking about how cathartic it was, how encouraging it was for him. And you could tell it was one of those things for you, Joe, where it was like, you just love doing it. It has nothing to
Right.
do with the making the money part. That's actually,
Right.
that's a
That's an
cherry on
added
top.
bonus.
Yeah, that's the cherry on top. And that's what I tell people is like, people ask me why I don't go full time on it. I'm like, then it's a job.
Yeah.
And it's
Right.
like, I don't want it to be a job. I want it to be something that I still
Oh,
enjoy.
but to that point, because Toy, I am one of those people who's told him, go into photography full time because I think it'll do great. But what would you say to that? So he says going into photography full time would be a job, but you have a full time job that's doing what you love. So maybe you can give him some tidbit real quick that says whatever you're about to say.
you got whatever you do in life, you got to have passion. And I think sometimes, like for me, I just can't work a job no more. I got to have passion for what I do. And so that's what keeps me motivated. That's what keeps me going. Because to be honest with you, because part of my job is I go inside these prisons. And when I get up, I may be having a bad night or get up in the morning not feeling good. But I'm on that road on the highway and I'm going to Big Muddy Correctional Center. I get to feel good about myself. Why? Because that's my passion. So I used to always say this all the time that I was believing God from going prison to prison to prison to preaching the word of God, volunteering, doing the thing. I'm getting paid for what I love to do. And so when you get paid for your love to do, sky is the limit. I get an opportunity to share with people. I ran into some people that's doing life sentences, 20 years left to do.
Wow.
And I've talked to some people that's never getting out of prison ever. But I still encourage them. There's life after situations.
Yeah.
And also do too, I share this. I do a Facebook Live. I actually have a Winter Circle Facebook page. It's called Winter Circle Peers Facing Life Struggles. You guys welcome to hop on there and be a part of that Facebook. And so what this Facebook page is I do a Facebook Live every Thursday. Every Thursday I bring a guest speaker on to talk about their agency. I bring somebody on that live life experience. They can give their testimony. I had a guy on the last week. His name is Lester Young. If you guys get on the Facebook page, you got to hear him. He was he got sentenced to life in prison. He got sentenced to life in prison. He's out now. He's out now after serving 22 and a half years in prison. And not only is he out, he got his sentence pardoned. So he has no more record.
Wow.
You guys got to hear that testimony. He's got a book out called 5 Stages of Incarceration. I interviewed him last week on my Facebook Live for about 25 minutes. He's very inspiring. But one of the 3 things that let me back up. Sometimes I talk too fast. Facebook page. Let me finish that. Facebook page. This Facebook page is for resources that I have when people get out of prison. Before they get out, they get a copy of how to log on to this Facebook page. When they get out, I log on. I put on resources statewide. So I have a connection with communities all over the state that sends me flyers to put on this Facebook page. So when a client or a returning citizen get out of prison, they can get on this Facebook page and get resources. And they also can see a Facebook Live. They may be getting out, they may be going through, and they can be strolling through their feed. Oh, Winter Circle Piers, man. Oh, that encouraged me.
Right.
So I created that for people that when they get out of prison, they have some encouragement. With this new norm, what we're going through, I had to be creative and create something.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Hey, Toy, sorry to interrupt you, but we got a couple of questions coming in, so we want to make sure that you kind of address those. But
and while you ask those, Toy, I'm going to put the Winter Circle in the comments for everyone to take a look. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So, Carrie Patton Jackson, she's one of our longtime viewers and a member of another show of ours. Toy, did any of your family support attend Al-Anon meetings or other programs like that to help understand your needs during your season of need?
No. Did not attend Al-Anon.
Would you recommend that now?
Yes.
Okay.
Al-Anon is a great resource for the suffering addict, the person that going through with that suffering addict or alcoholic. Great resource.
Great reason. Okay.
Why do you feel like your family didn't attend, Toy?
You know, coming up in the late 80s, early 90s, we believed in, I was raised with a grandmother that was a woman of faith. Mm-hmm. We was raised in the coaches that we believed that God would take care, lay hands on me. We'll pray you through it. That's what we believe. That's what culture I came up in. Mm-hmm. And so that's what they always did. We'll pray for you.
Right.
Instead of getting involved and helping me finding out what I went through.
Right. Because it's like, sometimes it's like a pride thing. It's like, we can take care of it ourselves. We want to keep it internal. We want to be strong for him. But really being strong for him is finding those other resources that you might not be able to provide or don't know how to provide.
Right.
And so I think that's really important for people to understand.
I like the practicals of things.
Yeah. So, Gabby, Toy, do you ever have now and then hurdles that you have to get through going prison to prison, seeing other people where you once were? If so, what were your hurdles, if you don't mind me asking? Do you ever have... Oh, she's asking, do you understand the question?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So basically what she's saying is, do I run into situations where I feel like that I can't help nobody, or feel like that I'm locked up again? Is that what I think she's saying? Is that what you're saying?
So Gabby, help us with the question. But what I think she's trying to say is, when you go to the prisons, do you have any struggles that it makes you feel, anything that just struggle, whatever you want to define it as, Toy, like, seeing them in there, feeling like anxiety maybe when you go in and thinking, oh my gosh, this, it brings me depression again when I go in these places, because trauma, like you were saying earlier, what trauma does to you. Or do you just feel maybe you have some immense emotion to the people who you're going to serve, and it's just like, any of those? And if you do, what are they specifically, if you don't mind saying those?
No, I don't have any flashbacks of the most thing I deal with now is how the security treat these inmates. That hurts me. That bothers me. That makes me want to go back to, like, man, you don't have to talk to them that way. So no, I don't have any flashbacks or any hurdles of me going back in there. It's just how security treats some of the inmates.
Right.
That frustrates me. My early years, when I first went in, I had a lot of flashbacks, but today, I don't have any flashbacks now. So when I first started working for this agency 12 years ago, I used to have some flashbacks, some hurdles I used to deal with, but now I don't have them at all.
Cool.
Awesome.
So, Carrie Patton Jackson, I think your darker season was a blessing. Your evident faith, support, and encouraging passion are leaving a large legacy. There will be people in 100 generations who won't know your name, but chains were broken because of your kingdom work.
Oh man,
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yes, they have.
That was powerful.
It was. Thank you. Who shared that again?
That was Carrie Patton Jackson.
Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate it. My faith has led me through a lot of things I'm involved in today. It took faith. It took my faith, and it took me getting involved in my community to be successful. And still today, Carrie, I have to continue to, like I said, have a lifestyle of doing those things.
You got another compliment here. Shauna Wilson says, "What a testimony! Wow."
Thank you.
And then, Jamie, you're right. That's what she was asking. So, Toy, question from me is, so what's the future for you? Where would you like to go? Is there someplace beyond your position now that you'd like to get to? I think you said something about being an author. Is that right, too?
Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes. My goal is to eventually open up a halfway house transitional home. That's always been my passion. Is to for guys can come out and provide housing for them, to have structure housing. So open up a halfway house where men and women, just men, could come out and have a place to stay and also get the education they need. I think of bringing a holistic approach for the men. So when they get out, everything they need will be there. So when they get out, my job is to connect them with employers that are felony friendly, connect them with resources. So they have all that at this halfway house. So a lot of guys, when they get out, they get frustrated because they're going from this place to this place and they're getting turned down. So my job is to build relationships with employers in the community that will hire felons, so they wouldn't have to run around trying to find employment, and they can come there because I'm already connected with these employers and they can get a job.
Right.
So
that reminds me of the Shawshank Redemption. I don't know. Have you seen that movie? It's a great movie to watch. But anyways,
Wonderful.
One of the inmates, he gets out after serving I don't know how many years and just trying to live on the outside world. And part of that was having a job and not knowing the right things and stuff like that. I think it'd be cool. I think your dream is awesome to have that because it's really hard for inmates to make that adjustment after being told, for so long when to go to the bathroom, when to eat, when to go play, that type of stuff, and living in that type of environment. It's not just a switch that you can turn on, and that's what I'm thinking. Sorry.
A lot of our men and women that get out of prison, a lot of them go back to prison because they don't have nowhere to go.
Right.
They have no place to stay. And here in Bloomington Normal, they have halfway houses, but you can't call them halfway houses. You got to actually rent to them. So they have a few around here. My goal is to bring a halfway house, to make it a foundation in Bloomington Normal, Illinois. So yeah.
Right.
I'm thinking about what you were saying a minute ago, Joe, and it makes me think. I honestly don't know anything about life after prison type situations because everything I do know is from movies, and I don't trust that. But I do know that there is problems that exist, and Toy and I are a part of this group where we're looking at situations like that. And here soon, we're going to be discussing ways that we can help situations like that, along with other things. But Toy being I've called the group, he's my expert, so say, on.
He's your resident expert.
Yeah, on this very topic. And so I'm always like, man, talk to Toy. Great. He knows what he's talking about, what we're trying to talk about here. Right. So
because you can't expect someone that's not set up for success after that to just automatically fix themselves. They're going to need the help, and that's what you said about going back into prison because it feels right to them, it feels normal to them, and that's why they recommit, and that's why they're back into that system.
And then too, I mean, Toy, you know, the idle mind is the devil's workshop. So when you're sitting, you've gotten out, you've got nothing to do, no one will hire you. So what do? You go back to what you know. You go back to where you were once comfortable.
Damn.
And so,
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's true. I think that, and also too, I didn't share this with you. I'm also working with a group out of Chicago called Alliance for Reentry of Illinois. And so what we do, we meet every month. We talk about, you know, what we can do to help get policy changes. You know, right now they got ban the box right now, where in Illinois, you know, employer can't ask them whether they're being convicted of a felon or not. You know, so that gives them an opportunity, even though they run a background check eventually, but that gives them an opportunity to get in there and sell themselves. And also too, you know, we got what you call expungement and sealment. We're working on policies where it used to be 10 years before you can get your record sealed. Now it's 3 years, or when you get done with parole, you can apply to get your record sealed. So I'm working with a lot of different agencies to change these policies, being more connected with our legislation to help get these policy changes. Because every guy and every woman that get out of prison, they're good people. Mm-hmm. Most people that are incarcerated right now, like myself, they're good people. They just got caught up.
Just made some bad choices along the way. And that could happen to any of us, honestly. You know, you just one slip up. And I always tell my kids that one slip up and your whole life can be turned upside down.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So I know we're getting close to the end, Toy, and I have so many questions still, but I want to, but there are some that I do want to address because I think that's pretty relevant. But let me, Carrie's saying something here in the comments again. Toy, I have a cousin who is 45. He started his incarceration stays at age 15. At this point, the longest he has ever been out is 6 months between stays because he can't adjust. Last time he was out, 3 years ago, he sat at Chili's crying because he couldn't believe the size of the menu.
Wow.
This was in Louisiana, she says. That just reverberates there. And it made me think, like, one of the aspects to incarceration is when you have people going in and coming out, like there are advancements in technology and society changes that happen that exactly like this situation, like, you know, it amounts to the same type of thing. The menu's larger, life is grander.
It's almost like a sensory overload type situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been posting videos recently on our Facebook page and my page about people who've gotten those Enchroma glasses and they see colors for the first time and they're like, oh, this is kind of cute and fun, and they put it on, then all of a sudden they take them off and they break down crying because they're just like, oh my gosh, the world just changed. I imagine, like what Joe said, it's almost similar, not the same reason, but very similar to that.
Did you feel that way, Toy? Did you feel like that whenever you got out on either of your occasions?
I did. I felt so alone. I felt just alone, and until I begin to share my feelings. A lot of men and women that get out of prison, they got some type of mental health issues, whether it's minor depression, and that goes back to this unresolved trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that's locked up, they just don't want to talk about it.
Right. Yeah, because you don't do that. You just don't do that.
Some men grew up that you don't cry, you don't tell your business, you keep your business in the house.
Yeah.
And so they was raised like that. So a lot of men, you gotta educate them on how to talk them out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, one of the things that I really appreciate about your future goal, Toy, is for men, not saying anything against women, but I do think that there are a lot of men who are incarcerated, significant amount of men who are incarcerated, and they need those support systems. And what you're talking about, I don't know if it's something that's ever been done because it's not something that I've ever experienced, but hearing you talk about it, I'm like, man, you know, you could count me in the future if any of them ever want to start a Facebook show or something like that. I would be glad to help any of those guys out, kind of situation. But I think what you're talking about, your goal is so powerfully impacting. So you talked about earlier about a book, and I know, again, we're running out of time. We're going to go a little bit over, but I don't feel like we kind of gave you enough attention for that. So
that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. The title of my book is There is Life After Situations. And I have 7 chapters. I start writing it. I'm probably in the middle of my 4th chapter right now, but I'm just gonna give you the highlights of my chapters. There's life after incarcerations. There's life after being in debt. There's life after divorce. I've never been to divorce, but I've been through the pain of somebody's divorce. There's life after substance abuse treatment. There's life after being hurt. And there's life after not being good enough. So
Wow.
That's awesome.
those are my chapters I'm going to talk about, because those are the pains and things I went through in life. And I think that this book is going to provide a resource for anybody, whether you've been in prison, whether you facing life struggles. It's going to help you identify, to help you deal with your hurts and your pains. And I'm going to dig deep in there about how I went through my hurts and pains. You know, people think that sometimes that it was just a flip of a switch, and it wasn't. It didn't happen overnight. This was a thing that you got to live the rest of your life. So
when can we expect to see this book release, or hopeful? Is it 2021 or 2020?
Yes, it's gonna be mid 2021.
Okay. When you're done with that and you're ready to announce it, you let us know so that we can bring you on here again.
Exactly.
And showcase it. Okay.
Each of you guys will get a free copy.
Perfect.
Oh, Toy, that's awesome.
I wasn't going to ask, but I was going to ask.
Autograph that for us, Toy.
Can you put your name in there too?
I know you didn't want me to talk about COVID-19 at all, but due to COVID, I have picked this book back up. And
man.
It's a positive for you. One positive.
We'll have to talk a little bit more later, Toy.
I got a lot more to share, so I understand.
I know. But there's a few more comments here I want to get to real quick before we leave. But Gabby says, I have an old friend whose dad got out of prison and didn't know how to use his phone because it was touchscreen. It took him months to get used to.
Wow.
Now that's got to be wild. Like, that's got to be like, man, I went in during TV and I came out to Star Trek being real kind of situation.
Yeah.
You know?
Unfortunately, right now they have institutions that they call life skills prisons, where they help them with cell phones, and now so they got institutions that's doing that with night, especially guys that've been locked up a long time.
Do they help them with checkbooks and balancing your?
Yes, they do. Yep.
They need that. You know, I'm just gonna say real quick, the education system. Yes, thank you, Joe. Yes. Anyway.
Get off your soapbox. Get off your soapbox.
Thank you. I'll stay away from there. Carrie Patton Jackson, is there something we can do to fight for better rehabilitation programs while inside to help the adjustment process in the way of mental health?
We're working on it right now. Our job is I'm working with that coalition, the Alliance for Reentry. We're trying to start reentry the day they get incarcerated. So if a person is sitting 5 years in prison, we're trying to build change speak with legislation about starting a reentry once they get in. So once they get in, our job is start working with them when they get out, getting ready to leave, even though they're still in there. Mm-hmm. And that's what getting them mental health treatment, substance abuse treatment, and life skills.
So kind of pivoting from that, Toy, is there something that we can do? You know, we're hearing your story, and you know it's impacting. So is there stuff that we can do, or what do we do to help causes and people like you helping the grander cause?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think that just keep talking to people about it, sharing with people about it. You know, you may have a coworker, hey, what do you think about this? You know, whether it's like, for instance, the Jim Crow thing that you're part of. Is that Jim Crow? Did I say that right?
Yep. The Disciples working to abolish the new Jim Crow. You
know, help pushing that. You know, how can we continue to get the word out about these men and women that get out of prison? They're being displaced because they're a convicted felon. They being thrown under the bus because they're a convicted felon. You know, I think talking to employers. You know, talking to your current employer, you know, what can we do to hire employers? You know, I know I spoke with a lady from State Farm, and I know that due to the regulations with insurance and banks and stuff like that, now they're thinking about start working some of them in the warehouse. They won't have access to that. So keep putting the word out, talking to your employers, talking to people about, educating them on what our people go through when they get out.
All right.
So I want to Linda had another comment here. Linda says, these problems contributed to the death in our family last week. We are burying him tomorrow. Depression and not coping.
Yep.
Very sorry for your loss, Linda.
Sorry about that.
Sorry, Linda. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's tough because men are like you said, we're taught not to express our feelings. That's not what we do.
But it's interesting. You didn't share this earlier, but Toy and I, Toy, his wife is a therapist, and both of our wives work at the same place, and they're very, very good friends. And so,
Yes.
we have both of our homes are definitely very pro mental health,
Yes.
positive homes. So, you're right, Joe. And I would think that Toy and I are definitely have been in that group where it's like, you got to talk to someone. You got to talk. There's no shame in it. You got to say something. So.
No
Toy,
shame.
Man, I appreciate you so much coming on tonight and
problem.
sharing your testimony with us and telling us your story, man. That was
problem.
hugely
Very motivational.
vulnerable. Yeah, very.
Yes.
And Toy, I just want to say that, I mean, I feel like your story, I mean, touched me. I almost got a little emotional there, but I know that you are doing God's work. And I always think of Matthew 40 when he says, what you've done to the least of my brothers, you've done for me. And you going into prison ministry is just amazing. And thank you for that. Thank you for doing the Lord's work when nobody else will.
If
That's
you ever
my
need
passion.
to broadcast something or share something that can use some effort and people behind it, Toy, let us know so that we can help out. Okay?
I will.
All right. So Toy, we are going to give you the screen for a little bit so you can kind of give a shout out, promote whatever it is you want. And after that, we will let you go in the green room and okay?
Yes.
Here you go.
Thank you guys for listening tonight. I want you to take advantage of the information I gave you tonight. There is life after situations. So no matter what you're going through in life, you can conquer it. But the key is that, like I said earlier, you got to make it a lifestyle. If you make it a lifestyle, sky is the limit. Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you, Toy. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks again, Toy. We're going to let you hang out in the green room and then don't go anywhere. We'll be back after the show's over and get to talk to you for a few minutes, okay?
All right.
All right,
Thank
man.
you,
Have a good
Thanks,
night.
Toy.
Thanks.
Thank you guys.
Powerful stuff, man. Powerful stuff.
That's so awesome. Yeah, I mean, there's some of his stuff was just, man, pretty
Resonated.
powerful. Yeah.
Like, and you can tell the way he's talking about it, like his passion for it, and he gets on his parapets every now and then about it, but it's not one of those where you're like, oh my gosh, it's here again. You're just like, man, this man loves what he's talking, like what he's doing, and his passion for this, and I think it's absolutely needed, guys. Like, I know sometimes I know sometimes I have carried certain stigmas with people who have been incarcerated, and I have slowly learned that they don't need to exist. If I'm going to be about, measure a man or a woman, a person by their character, I've got to be able to let people define their character to me instead of letting a word, you know what I mean, or a phrase kind of be like, oh, I'm automatically going to put you into this category or something like that. I need to. I don't do that anymore, but it is something that I struggled with at times, and so.
Defining a person by their past and stuff like that is really.
Well, I mean, because if we're being honest, if someone defined us by our past, yikesies.
Exactly.
I will say, I am not the same person that Joe met when he first met me.
Yeah, I have a couple of pictures that prove that.
Right. I think I can probably say that I'm not the same person that Joe met.
So
I've
always been the same.
No, yeah, pretty much.
Actually, yeah.
Actually, Joe hasn't changed.
In the last few centuries. So,
right, exactly. Wait, what?
Yeah. Anyhow, so everyone, I hope that you all. Do I say enjoy, guys? Is enjoy the right word
I hope
to
you
say?
take something away from this.
Very good. That's great.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you.
That's excellent.
So we're going off again. This is so weird to go off for a full 5 days. So tonight is the last time.
I'll tell you. I need it. I'm way behind.
But listen up, everyone. I've got our guest for next week. One of our guests for next week is confirmed, who's going to come on and talk about. She and her husband are going to come on, and they're going to talk about. It's not IVF, but it's close to that. It's kind of the same thing. In vitro fertilization, for those of you who don't know. Couples out there struggle with conceiving children, and they go through expensive treatments to make that happen.
Mhm.
And there's a couple here in town who's going to come on next week and share their story on Wednesday. We're still looking for that Tuesday guest. We've got some possibilities. We're waiting to see which one gets nailed down, but we will be back. And remember, tell us about our show on Wednesday. We're going to have our segments and do some stuff with Sandy. Talk about some of those real quick, because I think
we just want to do, for sure, we'll be getting something from the headlines. And if y'all see a headline that y'all want us to highlight, that would be awesome. But two, what do you guys want us to weigh in on?
Yeah, what do you want our 2 cents to be?
Do you have a debate that you need Sandy's 2 cents?
Right. And no matter how much 2 cents they put in, it's wrong. Mine will be the right one, so it's all that matters.
Gosh.
Right.
I can definitely say mine would be the most balanced and most fair one between the. Okay, everyone. So
anyway, go ahead and end that.
We love you guys as usual.
Remember to wash your hands and your mask
for at least 20 seconds.
You filthy animals.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Good night.
It's the social distancing show. How did you not know? How did you not know? It's the social distancing show. How did you not know? How did you not know? It's the social distancing show. How did you not know? How did you not know? It's the social distancing show. How did you not know? How did you not know?